Hey everyone, well we got a 1708, I think this is. Pretty sure it's 1708 and it's dead apparently. Come in with no signs of life, neither USB-C ports work, fan spins, computer never starts, computer draws power for a second and then stops. So probably CPU death, but you know, let's see what we can do. So plug in some power. So let's see, we get to 20 volts, that's a good sign. Yeah, we do get that short burst there. And it's trying to come up. Keeps trying to come up, I think. Let's see if it... Yeah, okay. It might be a short on PP bus because you can see these peaks here that pop up and they're periodic. So it could be trying to start the board, shuts it down. Start the board, shuts it down. Fingers crossed it's going to be that, because if it's not, then it's probably going to be a dead something that I can't fix. And then I'll be sad because I won't be getting any money. And money makes me happy. Not because money is what I want, but because money is a great options creator. When you have it, you have options in life. Hey Ron Rogers, John, laptop, dreaming, sorry. And bonjour, Michael. Alright, our 1708s are sort of starting to not turn up as much. The biggest problem with the 1708s that is an expensive fix now is when the ports get damaged because they're soldered onto the board and they're not cheap to swap out anymore. It's pretty clean. This is the 820 board. It's in a pretty good condition, so fingers crossed we're going to have that shorted cap somewhere, maybe up here, I don't know. Let's get it out and have a look. Oh right, battery's already disconnected. Ha! That will not be influencing it not starting. It's just they've done that as a precaution. That screw feels like that's already been removed in the recent past. Okay, we've got to take this end cover off so that we can get to the screw that's holding the heatsink down. Because if you don't, then you do something dumb, like you take the board and you try to reef it out, and you bend the heatsink and do a hell of a lot of damage. And then you sheepishly try to pass it off to someone else and hope they get the blame for it. And what you do is you screw that heatsink back down over here, and it's under tension then. So then when the next poor bastard opens it up, it goes boing, and they will immediately know that the prior technician effed up. Hey Didumrez. Hey Jason, I've been wondering where you are. Hope things are going alright on your side. I know it's a bit of a train wreck over there. Did that person with the... Oh geez, that machine... Yeah, anyway. Hopefully that got sorted out. Hopefully I didn't cause more drama than what I'm worth with that. Because they kept messaging me directly and I was like, this is inappropriate in the sense that, you know, you are not my customer, you're not my client rather, you should be dealing with Jason. Anyway, so apologies if I mess things up there. Hey there Harold. Harold, I got your email by the way, and I've just been building up my cash reserves on PayPal so that I can make an order for you. So, sorry I didn't get back to you sooner. Hey Dartom. And Permanov. Ah, this one's stuck. This is the keyboard flex. Right. Okay, it has not been removed before this board. That was far too well stuck down for it to have ever been removed. Okay, can't see any watermarks or skid marks, so please use other PayPal. Oh, okay. Can you just email me through the right one again? Because my email system at the moment just seems to be losing my threads, so I can't go back and find out what happened to certain chats. The other possibility is that the SSD is actually faulty. I have had a few of those. You found a solder ball under the edge of the USB-C port? That's weird. Where was that solder ball, Jason? Was it like a... No. Oh, you mean like in the ports here? It's very strange. But annoying that they don't want to... I hate it when people desperately want their data but then don't want to pay for the data after you get it. It's sort of like, once they know that it's recovered, they sort of revert back to being pushy about how they want things done, and that's extremely irritating. It's why with a lot of jobs I have a tendency to minimize the amount of information I give out in regards to what the fault was, how it was fixed and things like that, because 9 times out of 10 that information gets used to abuse your position. There's a little bit of cruft up there. Oh, right, okay, yep, alright. Oh, shike. Crikey. Okay, that's really bad news, that. Hey, full wave. Alright, the reason why this is bad news is that so many times I've found that once this damage here occurs, the CPU is dead. I don't know why, but it's not the first time I've encountered this corrosion in this area. And yeah, for some reason the CPU gets killed. And I can't understand it, because when I look at the schematic and all that, it's a signal line going there, but it's not really enough to cause that kind of CPU death. I guess I'm just going to have to clean up the damage that I can see, and then we'll go from there. I don't think I've ever had corrosion on these particular two before. Man, I forgot to... I've got to get another PowerPoint or something in this room. I share the PowerPoint between my drying oven and my fume extractor. The reason being is that I'm trying to minimize the amount of noise, electrical noise, going into the rest of my gear. I'll check the backlight caps in a short moment. Start at the first bits of damage and we'll work our way across. I don't even know what these parts are for. Didn't like the feel of that one. I can see one pad is already dubious. The other problem is that's right under the Wi-Fi chip. That's not good. At least with these boards, if the board is dead, then you don't lose your data. You just take the drive and go. But it'd be nice to still get the data back. I mean, not the data, get the board running. Oh, enjoy your return to Japan. One of these days I might get over there. One of these days. Not anytime too soon, got too many things here in Australia to deal with. But one day. Yeah, so we just had some oxidization, corrosion on that first pad. And there was certainly something underneath both those chips, whatever the liquid was that came in. That's been cleared off. So we'll just add some flux and add some fresh leaded solder. This is an 840 board, yes. So when I get a chance, I'll have a look at the board view and the schematic and see what I'm dealing with right now. A little bit of scraping, not really. You don't want to lose that pad. So we just switch over to the micro pencil and that makes life a little bit easier. Hey creature. Yeah, interesting. I must have replaced those parts in the past because I've got a couple of boards here without them. Well, they're not the greatest looking, but they're still going to do the same job. They're just a little roughed up on the outside. They still deserve love and care. Hey Daniel, second time today. Mostly because I got a fair number of machines came in today and I really need to get a couple of them out. Some of them I won't be doing on live simply because the work that they require needs me to be a little more focused on the task. I'm not saying that YouTube comments are a distraction, but they're a distraction. creature's screaming now because I tapped that, but there was an unevenness on the pads. Let's see. Fairly sure that should just clean up. We'll give it some flux and boil and see what it looks like. Basically these little caps here, they're just for high frequency noise reduction across the shunt resistor outputs. Yeah, they're not connected, but as in they're not bridged or anything. I'm not saying I really trust them though. Let's see if we can get the board running first, and if the board is running then I'll come back and swap them out, redo the pads. I just feel like it's a bit of a no-need task right now though. Alright, so this here is the real danger zone for me. Like I said, I've experienced this a few times before, and every time prior it's always been a dead end. And like I said, I'm not sure why with this board, when that particular component section gets hit, the CPU is inevitably dead. I'm hoping we get a better result tonight. Just wanted to see what I was dealing with. Okay, so the main chip should be okay. Kind of wondering if the traces might be damaged though. Certainly there's trace damage on that capacitor. Got to be really careful around here because there's a couple of caps, these caps here, and if you heat them up just a itty bitty too much, they really chuck a tantrum and they just pop. Not massively open pop, but you can see that the tops of them have delaminated from the interior, and so it has a slightly domed appearance, and yeah, then it's all over. Hey Q's, hey David. Don't know about flashing an empty one, I'm afraid. The only flashing tools that we've got, like the one that Moroto's put out, you still need to be able to actually boot the machine, so therefore you have to have some kind of a functional SMC, even if it's not the right board. I might take that second cap off. I'm a little worried that it's actually eaten away around it. I can't be sure. It might just be the way they've routed the trace, but I don't know, it just seemed like it was a little bit exposed, and it looks like it was just my paranoia. Yeah, that's correct, David. Yeah, if you've got a 3437 or something like that, you can do the jump. I believe some people have tried some crazy combinations that have worked, so see what you got in your donor board list, and you never know, you might get lucky. Hey DeAndre. Mark DeBoer's here. Hello Mark DeBoer. Alright, so we got another pair of them here. These ones look okay. The rest of the board looks complete crap, but that's probably because it's been stewing in old flux for the last 12 months at least. I must say, I'm definitely preferring the nozzle on this Atom since I took the damn helical swirly thing out. I'm able to get the job done with less air, less heat. And it tends to happen quicker, so it's not spreading the air everywhere, heating up everything around it. I mean, you know, some distributed heat's good, but the helical nozzles were just getting a bit ridiculous for me. So I'm glad to be back to straight nozzle. Ach, niemand. Come on, drop. You're not going to drop, are you? Yeah, you're going to be difficult. You are not a happy pad. Do I prefer it over the quick? Yes and no. They both have their pros and cons for me. While I can see it's handy, I'm really still not a fan of the whole button on the handle thing. I can understand why it's been done, because they needed a way to differentiate between the state that you were working in. I don't know, it just feels weird still. Personal preference, I guess. Yeah, Daniel, that's what happened to mine. I mean, it's inevitable with all of them, I suppose. But yeah, mine started to go a bit weak, and I do need to still order a replacement, because it is a perfectly functioning machine still. It just needs the new element. Prolux at the moment, I have it set so that I think it's like 10 minutes or something. It will, once you, what is it, so long as you pick it up within 10 minutes, it still carries on like it's a quick. Like I said, I just get caught out now and then. I'll do things like think that I need to press the button, but I didn't need to press the button, and so it spools it down, and I'm like, wait, I wanted it to spool up. Q's, I think it's only about 60-70 bucks. So it's not a high cost, it's just a case of getting around to doing it. Alright. Let's see what the behavior is like. It's booting. That half amp there, that's booting. Or at least I think it is. You watch, I'll reassemble it and I'll find out that I've shorted something out. I mean, certainly that and the quick creature, they both shut down and everything once you put them back into the holster. So that's not a problem. It could be an ergonomics thing that's irking me. Yeah, maybe if the button location or the style of the button was slightly different, I would not be bothered by it so much. So I think, yeah, maybe if the ergonomics were in my favor, I would not be complaining. The big thing that I hate on both of them is that they only have 3 settings stored, and I think that's just not quite enough. Because you want just low heating like 200 or whatever. Then you want high heating for MacBooks. You sort of want 2 or 3 settings for MacBooks and 2 or 3 settings for iPhones. Ultimately, let's say it would be nice to have 6 settings. I know that's starting to sound a little bit silly, but 6 would be about right. I guess the easiest way to get 6 settings is to have 2 machines. And I guess if I fix up the quick, then I would have that. But yeah, I feel like there could be more memories on these things. I think they kind of gypped us a bit there. You could actually program, if you got access to the microcontroller inside of these things, you could probably reprogram it so that it can do button combination selections. That is, you can like press button 1 and 2 for together for a different selection to just say 1 or just 2. Things like that, binary encoded selections. Though I imagine that would not go down well. A lot of people would get perhaps a little bit frustrated with that. But you know, with a 3 button setup, you could have 7 different settings. So there you go, fixed. Although you'd probably want to limit it to just 2 button combos rather than trying to invoke the full 3 buttons at once. So make it 6. Okay, so here we go. We're half an hour at this point. Not looking good. We've got no display output, so it could be backlight issues, as Jason made a passing reference to. Well, one way you can check is see if you've got cap locks. We do not have cap locks. We could still have something, say, like a bad SSD holding it down. No win yet. I'll just remove the SSD to eliminate it from the possibilities. By the way, if you're going to remove the SSD like I'm about to, at least give it a little bit of flex on the board to get out. Oh, I can't anyway because it's... damn it. Just take it out, Paul. Take it out. I might put it in another chassis as well, simply to eliminate the possibility that it's got a bad screen or anything like that. 1618. We don't take risks of losing the machines around here. It's all too easy to happen. And you have to lose the client's drive for, you know, half an hour, half a day. And that's enough to make you panic enough to never let that happen again. Alright. So this is my easy to use chassis with all the annoying parts, except for the Wi-Fi cable antenna taken out. I was stuck. Okay, let's see, here we go. Let's see, 500, 500, 500. It's holding steady on that 500, which is actually a little bit of concern, because maybe it means it is just stuck. Dead CPU. Not looking good. Constant 500. Not good. No. I've got a trackpad click. Definitely got no CPU's getting warm. Yeah, it's a dead CPU. Again. Either that or it's something else. I'll have another look. Daniel, no, I haven't done a watch. I did have someone asking about one. But yeah, the CPU's getting warm. I've got trackpad click, but I've got no cap locks. Let's see if I can get any other kind of response. Okay, it does cycle. See if it comes back up on its own. It may... I don't know why it's glitching like that though. Yeah, see, it doesn't even go through a normal sort of startup sequence. So it's time to measure some values and see what we got, see what we're dealing with here. If the cap lock light was coming up, then I would say, okay, you know, we've maybe got bad backlight or something like that, something repairable. But when you don't get the cap locks light, that's a little bit more ominous. It's just a bit of grit developing on here, so let's clean that off. Okay, let's measure some values. Continuity, it's probably going to beep because usually the values are pretty low. 1.4 is actually a bit too low. Three, 4. Time to check the open board data and see what it says. Hi, Catherine. 2.5. 5. Okay, it's within range. It is within range. I'd consider that plausible. Okay, let's start checking other things. I'd be surprised if PP bus is short, because we are getting 20 volts. So whatever that short is, it's a little further down. But then, like I said, the problem is the CPU is getting warm. So that's the main worry. And like I said, historically I have found whenever that particular part gets corroded that we just fixed up before, it seems like it just kills the CPU. There was something about that kills CPUs, and I don't know why. We'll have a look at it on the schematic. So what is this? U8210. So as you can see, all it really is just I think it's a mux. Or not even a mux actually, it's just an on-off switch. And for some reason, yeah, when that dies, it, I don't know why. I don't know whether it prematurely puts voltage out on SO, or maybe the problem is over here. Let's see, where are those pins? So if our corrosion is here, CT1, CT2, so that's pin 10 and 12. That doesn't even make sense, because CT1 and CT2, they're just simply slew rate controllers, meaning that they control how quickly that gate will turn on. That's it. It's really bizarre. What the hell? Backlight's fine, no problems there. Check the speaker caps. Although usually if there's problems on the speaker, that's on PP bus. Yeah, PP bus will usually show up shorted if that's the case. Yeah, the other possibility is there's another bit of corrosion I have missed somewhere. But again, the fact that we are getting a warm CPU is rather disconcerting. PM enable 5 years, so I haven't checked that one yet. Just trying to see whether I've missed something else obvious. Hmm. Hey, Tony W. I'll change that chip just in case. That was dumb. Yeah, I better grab that donor board back. Kind of curious what's under here. I'm kind of worried that maybe there's a little bit of corrosion under that chip. And that's U8220, which it controls 3v3 SO. There might be a little bit of junk under it. It's actually pretty hard to tell. There's a large physical obstruction there, but I wouldn't say that it was corrosion under there. See how the current waveform goes this time. Again, straight up to... I mean, if the CPU is okay, then something is holding it in like a... yeah, just in a state where it can't escape. Down to about 10 minutes left. I have a feeling this one's going to be a dead end. I'm just going to check the I2C lines. The fact that we're charging kind of makes me think, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's check some I2C lines. Yeah, 4-1, 4-1, okay, they're fine. Five eight, 5-8, they're fine. Now we get to the fun stuff. Somewhere in here is clock line for PCH, I2C. I think it's that one there. Seven three, a little higher than I'd expect, but seven three. Well, they're matched as well, so that doesn't appear to be a problem. What about the little power chip to the BIOS chip, the chip above it? 7 LBC. Wow, you're gonna have to give me the actual chip code. You're talking about this little sucker? Well, we can check. Let's see what sort of guides I've got. Let's see. I got a CPU. No, I don't have a CPU start. I thought I had a CPU start guide, but I do not. Crap. I blame not Pionov, Pedro for that one. Alright, what we're going to have a look at is, see, I've got this section here. We're already up to the 20 volt present section. So we're going to work from 0.19 onwards. I'm not smart. I just stumble around in the dark a lot. Let's see, naturally that is, let's go quad display. Yep. Naturally, of course, that's buried under there, the lousy SOBs. Yeah, just under there. Although we can track it back to that pad there, so we'll do that. Might as well turn off the extractor. So PMG to enable. Okay, that's present. This is where it gets fun. Got all the flippies to do. Present. .4. What's that for? Okay, that's present. I got bugs in my hair. They're definitely present. 3.3. Yep, we got that. God damn, I gotta flip the board again. Ugh. Hey, boss. Hi, Francis. I have got a bug in my frickin' hair. Get out of there. God damn Australia. Can't you take a break? Let's see. Last two after the second. Okay. Second last two. Present, and we're definitely getting hot on that CPU. Sus L. What is this one? 1v8 present. No, I understand now what that's showing me. Okay, we have 1v8. Don't give up on me now, mouse. No, you're losing your mind. There we go. Mouse having... So it's third from the MOSFET. 3.3 is present. One volt present, is that right? VCC PCH, 1 volt. Doesn't actually say what voltage it's supposed to be, but it seems about right. And then 1V5 S5G coming out on these ones. Yep, we got that. What's this one now? PM RSM reset. What's RSM? Don't know. Don't know what RSM is. Reset manager 3.3 present. Okay. Fifth pin in. Yep. Ah, my cables keep snaring up with my tools. Creature, we get that actually, yeah. We do get that on a regular basis around here. So you best not come to Australia, because it is comparatively common. You bastard, you're under the... Or are you? No, you're not under the shield. Yay! There's a little test pad off to the side. Oh, how nice and convenient. 3v3. Now the dreaded S4. Okay, 2 chunkies, and I think that's you there. 3v3, so we do have PM Sleep S4L. And now we're back over to the fun lands. TPS time. Test pad, just okay. Not quite sure what I'm looking for here, but got 3.3, 5. Okay, so that's a present. Ooh, here we go. Now we're getting somewhere that might. So that obviously is the chip that we've just been dealing with. PM enable 3v3 S4. I don't know if I can quite get my pin in there. Well, I saw 3v3 there. Ugh. Back to the nightmare. Notice how a lot of these aren't even populated. Okay, big little under the bottom one of the little, gotcha. 3v3. God damn it, back to the CPU side. Flippin' heck. Literally flippin'. Okay, there's 2 diodes there. God damn it, don't cross the streams. Shit, that CPU's getting hot. 3v3. I mean, it's generating 10 watts of power on me. Volts. Yeah, realistically, we should be at SO anyway, so we should be able to scroll through a lot of these. God damn it, you're under the SMC. There's got to be another point. There's got to be nothing. There's no other point. God damn. It's such an important signal and they don't have it. Oh wait, they do. There we go. Whew. Test point saves the day. I do love test points. That's why I'm spending time on Flexboard View at the moment, making sure it prioritizes the presentation of test points. Okay, we do have that. Because it's just so much easier to do this sort of work if you've got test points. And so when it okay, that's good. Don't like working with that particular chip. PIV enable PIV. Yeah, you're probably right, David. It's probably going to be exactly where it is, isn't it? Because it will be right at the end of the chain. I probably should have checked just right at the end of the chain, but sometimes I hate creating subdivisions in my workflow. 3. If you know what I mean. It's like because you can lose your sequence, as it were. And we've got 5 VSO anyway. Yeah, so we have 5 VSO, so that's definitely up and running there. Everything's running, it's just nothing's working. It even says power good is fine to the CPU. So if we go PM enable P5, we don't even have 5 VSO. It doesn't exist on this board. Yeah, so it's like something's jammed it up. Or just a dead CPU. If it's not clocking, I mean, okay, could it be bad BIOS? Could it be one of these rare times? Now we're getting into the stage of repairs that I hate. We're getting into the phase of just pot luck, take a guess, replace any random thing. It could be the SMC, it could be the BIOS. You just don't know, and so you start randomly changing things. At least with the BIOS, it's only an 8-pin chip, so the chances of stuffing that up are somewhat less. God, I hate it when that happens. Hey, Vodka. Do I use Elgato products? I do not, because they don't actually generally work well with Linux. I am using a Blackmagic capture card. I did want to use an Elgato switching for my OBS, but unfortunately to get it to work with Linux was a bit of a hack job at some point when I was looking. So I ended up making my own, but these days I just use the keyboard switcher. Okay, better make sure this is an 840 board. It's an 840, okay. And we're just gonna snare its BIOS chip. U8210 pin 5. I'll have a look at that in a second. But like I said, the problem is that all the rails seem to be appearing, so yeah, unless something specifically isn't being turned on, some sort of sub rail. God damn it, Paul. Now I've got to wait for the center to heat up. There we go. Thanks, Viv. Vipe, sorry. Thank you for the £2. Nothing like a good coffee for £2. Can you actually get coffee for £2 in, yeah, reasonable coffee over there? Or is it all like £6-7? If this board had already been removed in the past, I would have been looking for a knocked off resistor somewhere. We have had that before where there's just one little resistor that's knocked off and it was an important resistor. But because the board, so far as I can tell, has never been removed, then I'm disinclined to consider that option. I mean, I'm certainly, while I'm going over the board, I'm also looking to see if there is anything iffy. Goes straight up to 500 and sits there. That is really annoying. So we know it's not a BIOS issue. Let's see, what were we talking about? 8210 pin 5. Oh, right, yeah. That is listed as PM enable SO switch. So that's that there. Interesting. Yeah, this is where it's fun. You have on the schematic you have one naming, and then on the board view you have another. I would actually, in this case, consider changing the board view to take up that name instead. Anyway, let's see if we get that. Like I said, I really don't like getting in on this chip because you're right next to the lower two pins there. Like, you're very close to these ones, which is 5ES4. I hate doing this to boards. It always makes them look so ugly, but we will be ultrasonicking this if it succeeds in working. Oops, no one can see. Yeah, trying to get the probe down on that pin, that's a really toughie. But I dare say it is actually going to be present. Just trying to pick my angle here. Yep, present, as expected. Let's just change the chip next to the BIOS chip. Well, first I'm going to change that BIOS chip back to the original BIOS. Last thing I want to do is start running around with the wrong BIOS on it. Q's, why do you... I'm going to have a look at that chip on the schematic and have What's your reasoning for it? Especially considering that none of this area has been touched by corrosion or anything. So I'm kind of curious to hear your theory. Dirty bastards didn't put a marker for pin 1 on that. Okay, you've come across them being bad. On these boards or just in general? As in for this particular type of fault or just in general? I'm going to have a look and see what that it actually does. No, there we go. Center's melted. Okay, U6101. Interesting. What is this? SPI motherboard, clock select low, SPI ROM use interesting. Alright. Creature, get over it. It was an imperfect layout for the chip anyway. I was reusing old lead-free solder, so you're gonna have to just live with that. I'm going to tap that bastard to make sure the middle goes down properly. You're always going to need therapy. You needed therapy before you even started this stream. We've always told you that. We've always been mean people to you, Creature. All the way back to the dark old days of RC groups on IRC. To be fair, this flux is actually not meant for lead-free solder, but it seems to do a sufficiently tolerable job. There you go, Creature. Use ultra configurable multiple function gate 3-state. Oh yeah. It's like a mini PLA. Still a bit hot, and we are now 20 minutes over our threshold. Damn it. This is where really in business I should just learn to cut it, because this is the part where you go from being able to quickly clean up as a janitor on boards and get things fixed and get them sent out and get money, to becoming a nerd and digging down to find out what's actually wrong and fixing it. See, being a nerd does not pay in this business. If you're going to be a nerd in this business, you got to have someone pay you for your time, and that just doesn't happen. Alright, here we go. Nope, straight back up to 500. Pretty much, yeah. So that's a no-go. Wah wah wah. I'm gonna have a look and see what happens here. See if we get any green flashing. I doubt we will, but someone given a Pinocchio nose there. Who's lying, David? But yeah, so we've got, like I said, it's like it's been held in a state or something. But it's interesting that the CPU actually gets warm. What I should do at this point now is take the heatsink off and see if it's generally getting warm or whether we've got a point source. If we have a point heat source, then that's it, it's over. I have a feeling it's not going to be a point heat source. I have a feeling it is just going to be a generalized heat. But yeah, it's like it's not clocking out or something like that. You know, it's stuck in the pre-post. So, which, you know, makes me think possibly SMC issues, or just some stupid little resistor not making contact. Oh, right, okay. I just thought the extended nose on that looked like you were saying that someone was lying, like Pinocchio nose. Q's, I can bet you that if we replace the CPU, nothing's probably going to change. Because that's the sort of evil, nasty... Damn it. I'll let the damn thing go flat again. Right, I'm gonna have to steal another USB-C power brick. Come here, USB-C power brick. What I actually need to do is power this one using this, so that we can still maintain current observation with this. Are you on? What are you doing? Fortunately for this one, I'm not going to need the isolation box, because I know there's enough heat coming out of it. The number is I haven't made up my mind as to which one to get yet. I also do need to actually get a larger workshop. I just simply... Ooh, that looks a little ominous. Just a little bit ominous. So yeah, it's very quite specific in where it's getting hot there. So I would consider that to be basically end of the road. Yet another one that died in a strange kind of way. And like I said, I just can't make heads or tails of why they die like this whenever that chip gets hit. Q's, I can't even get a driver for it, so honestly it's just easier for me to move on and get something like a Lepton core set up from SparkFun or similar, and simply, yeah, because they've got Windows capabilities on those things, but these ones are no good. The downside is, of course, you don't have the visual camera. I can't really see. There's a teeny tiny defect that top right, but I wouldn't call it. Well, that's blinding. See specifically where it heats up. I mean, it does seem to heat up in general. You saw it heating up at the top first. So no, I'm kind of slightly hopeful, but I don't know. It's certainly not a extreme pinpoint. I have seen the InfiniRay, yeah. I don't know, but yeah, the problem is I just can't see anywhere else where there might be damage that would be inhibiting it. And the other problem is, of course, with boards like this, given that the data is already removed from it due to the drive, is there a lot of point to even trying to repair this? But yeah, it heats up pretty damn fast, and it stays constant. But yeah, I don't know why, but anytime I've had that hit over here, it's just kills it. And I just don't understand it. Because when you look at what it does on the schematic, it doesn't really... The only thing I can think of is that it's prematurely sending the voltage to on that rail, and maybe the CPU just isn't ready for it. Unfortunately, Keith, it's about to finish. I'm just going to swap this part, but that's about it. Trying real hard not to piss off those capacitors. think I already did. Yep, I did. I can smell them. Damn it. Flux has a smell, and those capacitors, when they get ticked off, have another smell. We're going to cheat. We're not going to bother reballing this. We're just going to drop it down on pads. I don't recommend it. I know there was a recent video demonstrating doing that, and it's a case of, yes, technically you can do that. No, it's not recommended because there's just so many imbalances and variations, and you could end up. Yeah, it's fine if you're doing a recovery, and you just got to get it to work for a little time. But as a permanent fix, reballing's the only real true way. And it's certainly something that a lot of us have always done in these situations. But like I said, it's not really something I would ever recommend. So do it for test, but that's about it. Come back and reball it properly. And you know, if that was conveyed in the video, then all good. Nah, same crap. Yep, that's it. I'll have another look at it in the morning, but basically, based on prior experience, I haven't been able to find a fix for this. If it's not the CPU, I don't know what it is, and I certainly haven't bothered to put the time into it, because in most of these cases, being a 1708, if it's not one thing, it's going to be another sooner or later. So that's it. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Catch you later.